Best of 3, generally, you have to prepare a lot more because in a best of 1 scenario, a lot of times you can sort of predict a lot of people's picks. But in a best of 3 scenario, you have to prepare for multiple situations and you have to just work a lot harder.
Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Regional Playoffs live from PAX Prime in Seattle. Live from PAX Prime in Seattle. Now, guys, it is time for the final showdown between Curse and Team Dignitas. And the winner moves into Saturday's semifinal round, gets one step closer to Worlds, and guarantees themselves a spot in the Season 4 Spring Split. The loser, though, drops into the 5th place match against Counterlogic Gaming and faces possible relegation if they lose that match. And now, after getting rolled by Curse in the first game, Dignitas was able to come back and pull out a clutch win in Game 2.
So Dignitas was in control of this game early on, and it was a total reversal from Game 1. One of the big reasons for Dig's success is that they got many of their comfort picks. We talked about this before, but they also performed on those comfort picks. Crumbs was kicking it in the jungle as Lee Sin, and as Jat said, if you follow his recommendation, he'd say ban that one out, because Crumbs has admitted it. That's one of his specific champions that he loves to play. Same thing with CRS. He came up big on Gragas. It's one of the champions that he's been known for years, literally years. People have been banning this away from him, but they didn't make the adjustment here. Cutie Pie also had some great shots as Ezreal. He won the lane against Cop for one of the first times this split, and he came up pretty big with some snipes, missed a few, but he made it when it counted.
He made it when it counted. So guys, we're about to get ready to hit. We're about ready to hit. You might notice that Curse is actually still on the red side for this game because, well, the higher seeded team, and of course Curse came in as 4th place. Yeah, shows the red side. They're actually on Kobe's side. They don't like me as much. But the higher seeded team, and Curse being 4th, picks their side in Game 1 and Game 3. Dignitas, of course, picking in Game 2, and Curse choosing red here. So they got something up their sleeve a little bit, it seems.
So this means Curse are looking to leave open multiple high priority picks and then grab 2 of them since they have 2nd pick. And they're going to get 2 champions. They're just going to give Dignitas the pick of the litter and then try and capitalize on the extra pick that they have.
We'll see what they can pull out with this one. Champ Select has begun, and Dignitas now pulling up the first ban. They're going to drop away Ari. Champ Select, of course. Ari Evelyn still dropped away from Dignitas, still removing that one from Crumbs. Jarvan banned away still. So, no surprising bans just yet. See what else comes through. There's the Ezreal ban. Good job, Chris.
So they're going to go back to that one. Cutie Pie definitely made it known that if you give him Ezreal, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, well, they still give him the Zac, though. Lee Sin also still open. Gragas also still open. So as far as, the other 3/5 of the composition, 4/5 of the composition, those are still available here.
So they had to expect the same pick. This is what happened against them before. Dignitas first picked that Zac. They knew this was going to be a first pick Zac, and they picked the exact same 2 to follow it up. The adjustments from Curse, they feel like it was gameplay.
Right, Sona Gragas. We'll see if they run the same comp.
They're really putting a lot of... It looks like they're telling me that was all Ezreal here, Cutie Pie. They thought that was the biggest reason Dignitas came out with that win, but really... It was early jungle plays there from Lee Sin. It was Zac in the late game being able to dive. Gragas roaming around. I don't know.
Well, there was that one Bloblet dive where they gave Crumbs a double kill. They're like, well, if we didn't do that, we would have been fine.
Yeah.
And that's always one of the interesting things is when teams look at a game and are like, if we just didn't make this one mistake, we'd have been fine. And I wonder how true that is because every team will make some mistakes throughout a game. You'd be like, well, if we just eliminate this one mistake, we're good. But I wonder if that's super true.
How deep will this rabbit hole go here? They've so far we're following the same path. There we go. There's the adjustment. It is going to come from that bottom lane.
All right. So Ashe Zyra hovered over right here for Curse, and it worked for them in Game 1. They ran more threats. They had actually, well, I guess they had Kassadin and Karthus themselves, and neither of those are available. But they ran more threats. Cop played utility.
You know what? They're stepping up their wave clear here, and they're stepping up their counter dive. They didn't feel like their 4-man unit with the Caitlyn and the Thresh had enough wave clear. Like I said, it was decent wave clear because Peacemaker and Spiritfire, or Peacemaker, Piltover Peacemaker, and Spiritfire, had enough. Nah, never mind. They're just going for engage. They want the Ashe arrows.
That is much less wave clear than before.
Yeah,
never mind. Ashe,
it's just Ashe arrows.
All right, so Ashe is going to start things off. They have locked in that Thresh, so still giving Dignitas a lot of their picks, but making one adaptation here. Curse thinks it's going to be enough. The last couple of picks coming through for Dignitas lead an 80 carry and a mid laner. And we'll see what he picks, if not the Ezreal.
Got my money on Twitch here for a Cutie Pie pick.
Well, last time we played Caitlyn and Ashe didn't go so well, but you never know.
That would give them some more tower pressure, though, and they do rely on getting those down fairly early so that Crumbs can get in there with all of his wards and lay claim to half of the cursed jungle.
Yeah, it's definitely an option. We'll see what still comes through. Graves, another one of his big favorite champions. We haven't seen Scar specifically play Twisted Fate in a while.
Yeah.
Actually went to Kiwi Kid the last couple of times they picked it up.
That's why I don't think this is going to be a Twisted Fate lock-in. This is one of those teams where we talked about the champion overlap. That's how they try and get around using those picks. This is much more likely here.
So the Patoy Zed, the Cutie Pie Graves. Yeah. Okay. As soon as I saw Zed, I was like, yep, that's Skara.
Yeah.
That's what he's going for right here. So Skara on Zed, Cutie Pie, his other most played champion. Last I checked, it was actually his direct favorite right there.
Yeah.
Losing record on Graves for what it's worth. He was like 4-6 coming into this. But
I like this switch here from Dignitas because they're expecting, again, another split push for Void Boy to come in. And Skara is saying, whatever you got, Void Boy, I can handle that with Zed.
It could be an interesting setup here because, and it's good too because Kiwi Kid's a good split pusher as well on that Zac. So if either one of them does well, they've got someone to send there against Void. We'll see what comes out of this one. I mean, heck, it might even be that top lane Nasus all over, like from the way beginning. And I mean, CLG ran it against Zac, right? Like they actually did do that. So we'll see what the situation actually ends up being because look at this. So it's his other big champion right now.
The burst combo that Dignitas also have locked in. We're going to have another one of those lane Nasus times. All right.
It's one of those Farm Fest top laners for Void.
So this has worked, over in OGN when they have the lane Nasus, rush something like the Spirit Visage. So he has massive sustain. The thing that a lot of these other teams that have been faltering with this strategy is they give away so much to get that Nasus Q stacks. You have to be very careful about how much map pressure you give up when you run this lane Nasus. Well, you want to use him actually as a bully to stay in that lane. Use the lifesteal and the cooldown reduction to be able to continue pushing.
Well, I guess I like Curse's 4-man unit though, right? Ahri, Amumu, Ashe, Thresh, all of them have dedicated hard crowd. Orianna. Orianna, Amumu, Thresh, and Ashe. Sorry, there's a lot of O and A sounds. It screwed me up. And that 4-man unit's actually pretty good. Like they can make picks. They can actually threaten a lot of things on the map. Lock someone down for like 12 seconds, and at that point, they're probably going to die.
Talking about making picks, Ashe really is the best for that.
I feel like Lulu's the best for making picks.
She's very good at punishing Zed specifically. Actually, Skara on Zed and Reggie on Zed have been picked out by multiple Ashes who don't expect the arrow because when Zed uses his shadow to push a wave, then that's one more dodge that he doesn't have for when the arrow comes, and it opens him up to being caught out.
And actually, to think about the Orianna-Ashe combo as well, think back to the that one big dragon fight for CLG back in the first quarterfinal where Reggie went like full on out, like trying to take down Double Lift, and he got shield after shield after shield, part of it being the Orianna ball, and survived through it. There's actually some decent counter picks here just within the sort of champion pool, saying, look, we can actually survive some of that burst in an actual team fight. We might be okay. Of course, the Amumu lockdown really good as well. And we'll see if that happens here. Game 3 of the quarterfinals. Winner moves on to face Cloud9 in the semis. You win one more BO3, and you go to the World Championships. Dignitas and Curse, 1-1 here. This match means everything.
And I do like Amumu against Zed as well, because you can get him snared with the ultimate and then follow it up with a bandage toss. If you can lock Zed in place for any amount of time, it's a huge benefit because he won't be able to get off his combo. No matter how slippery he is with those shadows, you're not allowed to auto-attack when you get snared.
And we'll see what these guys do with this one now. So the early lines being drawn, very defensive level one actually from both sides right here. Skara lurking in his own jungle. So is everyone on each team really. Cop is standing on top of a ward, and I believe because it hasn't taken any damage. So a nice ward over the wall by Patoy. I'm guessing Patoy. I don't think anyone else put any wards.
Well, it wasn't Skara.
Yeah, none of the guys with Doran shields, unless Crumbs only has one potion. Nope, it had to have been Patoy. Put the ward down.
They saw him come in here, so now both teams are alerted to the presence. No shenanigans. Gonna come down early.
He wasn't picked. But of course, the one thing that Dignitas has here, though, is they know where Cop is. They can seek the duo lane. If they want a 2v2 or 2v1, they know exactly where Cop and Edward are going to be. And this gives Dignitas the option to, not that I really like Graves being 75 range less than Ashe, but their push would be really good. They could 2v1, try to keep Voyboy down for a little bit longer.
I do really like the Zac 1 vs 2 last game, though. Kiwi Kid, who has struggled in 1 vs 1 situations. He had a really good 2 vs 1 early game.
Yep, and they're going to give him that. Kiwi Kid's already there in the top lane. He's going to fight against the Ashe Thresh lane. Saints, of course, going to get an easy pull. And now Voyboy, of course, being in a 1v2, doesn't need to sit in his lane. But, of course, Saints going to smite it out anyway just to get the early clear done and give Void the chance to get some experience in the 1v2.
Voyboy on Nasus is a little bit troubling, too, because he's such a playmaker for Curse.
Yeah.
Nasus isn't a very spectacular playmaker.
But what's interesting, though, is he did start Spirit Fire. So you're right, he's not going to get to stack that Q. He's not going to get to make plays early on, but he can keep his turret in much better shape.
Because he knew he was going to go for that 1 vs 2 situation, didn't want to get his tower pushed in that early. Nasus, very good at wave clearing, but you're right. Usually, solo lane Nasus like to farm up the Q stacks very early. Because it's a 2 vs 1 situation, won't really get that opportunity.
Yeah, and look at what Kiwi Kid's had to do. He's actually sitting back behind his turret, waiting to hope he can last hit something now, and it's going to be all kinds of difficult for him. Gets one, actually. That's actually pretty impressive by Kiwi Kid, last hitting with W. But I want to see how well Voyboy does with this now. Of course, he's getting zoned out a little bit, but he tries to Spirit Fire. Last hit a melee minion there. And I want to see what happens to the turret health here, because there's so much pressure available from a Graves Sona lane, and the gank pressure from Crumbs' Lee Sin as well. I want to see what happens.
You only have to wait, Freak. Time will tell.
Right.
But Voyboy, yeah, he definitely looks like he's going to get dove here. Cutie Pie gets into melee range.
He's going to try to teleport away, but he's going to go down too fast. First blood going over to Crumbs right there. That was not what Voy wanted there. Crumbs came faster than he expected.
Very, very early dive to pull off. Voyboy deciding to stand in one spot to get the teleport off, but that means Lee Sin can land his execute combo.
And that's not all kinds of wonderful. Of course, St. Vicious zoned away as well right there. And you can see that that's going to be just a lot of free turret pressure. Now, again, the turrets do have more armor early in the game right now. We changed them around to get some bonus armor earlier on. But you're seeing this first turret here for Saint down to about 1/3 right there. The other one, on the other side of the map, down to about half as well. So the early turret pressure definitely coming through. And Crumbs is going to be nice and rich.
Amumu coming to lane here does not really help them at all either. It shows St. Vicious' position. He's also not that helpful in a 2 vs 2 here with Nasus. They wouldn't be able to pull something off. So a lot of information gained for Dig right there, and time lost for Curse.
The flash in, Jackie forced to run away from this one, burned his flash as well. Now can Crumbs land the other Q? No, nice dodge by Jackie. That was crucial. He would have died otherwise.
Very good sidestep right there, but his flash is down, and he's still vulnerable. In the EU especially, see this, the Orianna Zed matchup. Bjergsen, I think, was the one who specifically said, in EU, the EU Zeds crush Oriannas. Meanwhile, over in OGN, I guess it was just because it was Faker.
Yeah.
But Faker really dealt with that well, and he won the matchup as Orianna.
Good lantern, but it's still a 3-on-2. The Q lands on Edward. Kiwi Kid gets pulled in. He could be in turret
they got
range.
him. This
One more shot.
passive.
He's Bloblets now. Now can Scar and Crumbs keep him alive? You can safeguard to a Bloblet if you wanted to. Volley lands on 2. It's not going to be enough damage, though.
Minions!
No, Minions not doing quite enough. Tiny little Kiwi Kid going to get out of there and then pick up some Bloblets and heal back up.
All right, St. Vicious does take this opportunity to gain a step up back in the jungle. Jungler top, he goes to invade bottom. Very good reactions from him.
And here we go. Let's see what these guys do. Going to be copping. We're getting a bit more breathing room here despite a pretty big scare. Looks like Edward losing his summoner spells, but St. Vicious, as you mentioned, the counter jungling has been completed, putting some pressure onto the mid turret. Not getting a lot out of this one, though. So, Curse only down 400 gold.
Now, the interesting thing with counter jungling now that the smaller camps respawn timer has been shortened, if you clear the whole camp, it doesn't really counter jungle your opponent pretty much at all because they come back so quickly. And Crumbs can easily just go to the double golems here. He's not going to miss out on much. As soon as he finishes those and gets back up, the race will be respawned. So Saint, as a Mumu, doesn't have a choice to counter jungle because he can't leave up one of those small rays. All his damage is AoE.
Yeah. His banish toss it and smite it. I guess if you smite, you're okay. But you're right. These turrets, though taking some damage, you can see Dignitas still on the offensive here. Voyboy only level 3. He's not had a very good time with this one. Kiwi Kid, for reference, is level 5 right here. Void trying to scale up. He's only got 20 minion kills. And this turret getting lower and lower right there. Dignitas not giving this one up. You can see Voyboy actually leaving right now, recalling back. So 2 minutes and 48 seconds in, Patoy takes down the first turret of the game, and Dignitas off to an early 1,600 gold lead.
We went with one of those classic early 3-man tower dives into an early turret here. Dignitas really showing up big.
This is great stuff. So Cop and Edward, just a couple seconds too late, show back up to this bottom lane and say, oh, the turret's in shambles. Crumbs lurking around, doesn't actually manage to counter jungle anything, but they know the blue buff is coming back up, and you're seeing Crumbs already in position to stab Jackie in the back. Puts the Q down. Just going to get pulled away. Looks like this will be safe for Curse.
Some very good warding here done for Curse, though. They have plenty of vision around this side of the jungle, so when Crumbs inevitably does come for his counter jungling, they will be alerted to his presence, and they also double it as protection for any sneaky dragons.
Yeah, that's going to be really valuable. But of course, Curse is the team that has the Nasus. He's not level 6 to be fair, so it's going to be a while until he becomes that crazy dragon threat. But Voy has the teleport. He's got the ability to show up to a fight.
He's actually lower level than Saint as the jungler.
He's lower level than everyone. Well, he's tied with Patoy. All right. Certainly not having the best game of his life so far. And you said, this is a little bit worrisome, putting Voyboy, who's normally the playmaker, in that 1v2. Hasn't yet had a good start. Now, Saint's smite is down while Crumbs is up, and he's lurking in the shadows. This is going to be picked up. Oh, nicely done right there. Crumbs grabs the red buff. Saint's not in a great place, gets kicked in to Skara. Pops the ulti, flashes back. Good shockwave. Saint's still alive. Crumbs will not have that Lee Syndrome, will not jump in under the turret. It's going to be a good escape there for Curse.
There was really no chance for Saint, though. You can't call him out for missing that because there was no smite available. And even if it was available, Lee Sin coming in with the combo, very hard to secure from. Like we said, Crumbs not wasting any time. He loves Lee Sin because he loves taking away his opponent's jungle. He loves leaving that vision there for his team. And again, Curse let him have it.
Curse did let him have it, so it seems that they were confident in everything else. Dignitas running 3/5 of the same comp they ran last time. Curse doing pretty much the same thing, actually. I believe that's 3/5 of the same team before, though champions might be in different roles here. Dignitas, though, actually, interestingly enough, despite that turret going down, are staying in this bottom lane. They're not going for more turret pushing, they're just going for more control over the bottom lane with their level and gold lead.
They're actually happy up there with Kiwi Kid going against Voyboy. They're not really worried at all. And Nasus with a jungle of Mumu doesn't pose any threat to a Zac.
And he's actually on his way down right here. So now Voy has hit 6. He's got his teleport. Dignitas, though, already starting off on the dragon. Edward spots this, puts the lantern down. That does give him some vision. Will the team rejoin there? You've got only 10 seconds till Kiwi Kid joins up into this one. A little bit of poke coming across. Dignitas definitely the team that feels strong here. You're right. Oh, the kick in on a Jackie. Jackie forced to flash away. A lot of damage in from Scar. Will it be the kill? It is. Nice pick up there. Getting the kill out of this one. Doesn't get Dragon, but gets another kill in the mid lane and then goes back for Dragon.
Classic Crumbs Lee Sin. Able to get behind Jackie right there. Put him into position for Scar to take him down. And Cutie Pie, this is one of the benefits of having that Graves. He's got plenty of instant damage that he can put out as an AD carry.
And if he needs to burst someone out, there we go. Smite comes across. Dragon picked up there for Crumbs. And Voyboy's not even going to pressure this top turret there. Just gets the farm and gets out. He does manage to catch up for the most part in levels and minion kills. So Voy is now useful again. But the team getting farther and farther ahead. Dignitas up 3,000 gold early on.
Yeah, so they sacrificed, that bottom turret, first blood, and first dragon for an extra 81 damage on Siphoning Strike so far.
We'll see if it's enough there. We talk about what these guys pay, what price they pay in order to get that Nasus farm so far. Hasn't yet paid off. Let's see what happens now. Dignitas, of course, actually that explains why they stayed in the bottom lane. It wasn't for turret pressure, it was they knew Dragon was going to be an objective. So good read there, Dignitas making that stuff happen. We get back to the top lane now that Nasus has recalled back, and we go back to this duel. Voyboy, now nothing can really be taken away from him on the map. There's no Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a duel or a farm fest, more like.
It's okay. Or, I don't have anything clever for this one. I was thinking.
It's fine.
The PvE battle has begun. Kiwi Kid in a proxy farm out behind his turret. Of course, it's really not a problem for Nas. He's got sustain too, so Kiwi Kid guaranteeing he last hits all the minions here. I don't think there's even a possible way they could be stolen. And actually, Voyboy pushing the minion wave down to the opposing turret. So these guys are really not trying to duel each other. They are just going for the minions.
People really put a lot of emphasis on how the Siphoning Strike scales here, but using that against this Dignitas team is going to be a bit difficult for Voyboy, even with Ghost. It's a very slippery Dignitas team.
Yeah, you're right.
And Pator there with a crescendo, when he does get close, will give QtPie the peel he needs. QtPie's brought Cleanse, so even if you get that Wither down onto him, he's got one answer at least.
Well, they're jumping in for Kiwi Kid. He's going to pop his ulti right there, knocks back 2, and Saint never even goes for the Q, so Kiwi forced to flash away from the hook, but no CC really landing on him. Q lands from Crumbs, jumps over to a ward now. Jackie forces a shockwave, but it's too low. He's going to go down. Doesn't even need the death mark. Skara picking that one up.
Crumbs with the alley-oop again over to Skara. What a beautiful play. Nice arrow into his head, though.
And here we go. The bandage house is going to land. There's the death sentence as well, which will be literal. And Edward picks that one up 3-1, but Crumbs steals away the blue buff in the process. Still positive.
Very well coordinated plays from both teams here, and we're not done. Saint comes in.
Saint still has his ultimate available if he wants to go for this one. Edward jumping in. There's the jump onto QtPie. Will he curse the Sad Mummy? Getting slowed by Ash. There's the burst coming across. QtPie gonna go down. Teleport from Voy as well. Now is Edward still alive? He's out of mana and still chasing Crumbs away, but I think Crumbs gonna get out of this one.
And in a flurry of action, we have a couple more kills for Curse, but Zachary has been pushing the top lane all by himself.
You know Zach is not short for Zachary, right?
It's a one. I like calling him Zachary. It's just that it rolls
Do you miss
off
Aframu?
It rolls off the tongue. Yeah. Yeah, so it actually stands for what? The Zon Amorphous Combatant? Yes, so it's actually an acronym. It's not even a name, Zach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. All right, so St. Vicious in the clear away his red. I got nothing, dude. I'm just like, yeah. All right, so St. Vicious clearing the jungle. Crumbs also clearing the jungle. Crumbs doesn't stand for anything. It's just Crumbs with a Z on the end. I'm good at this. Scar up in the mid lane. Scar actually did use the stamina something. He was scarred for life, and it got shortened. So we got something else there. Anyway, the mid lane still getting cleared out. 94 to 94 minions, interestingly enough. So despite all the alley-oops and all the deaths and all the kills, Scar and Jackie are holding pretty equal farm measures here. Of course, Crumbs really helping out Scar with this one, but regardless, an early pink ward as well. I should say early, 14 minutes in, but he vision wards off the side of the mid lane, helping to you know, get someone in, look for a gank, even at 14 minutes.
Wasn't really much of a fair fight in that mid lane.
No.
Crumbs keeps on coming in to turn the tides here. And there hasn't really been an answer yet from Curse. That was a good set that they had.
The support players continue to cheer for the ward kills.
In the blue side jungle here. But again, Curse are in the same position, so this is not looking good for them. Dignitas really coming out strong. They made the adaptations that they need to after the first game, and we talked about the most important thing as a League of Legends player is adaptation.
Well, Saint landing a stun there. Crumbs down below half. I'd like to point out that Saint is winning duels against Lee Sin as a Mumu. This is a thing that exists, by the way. He's doing very well with this one. More Q spam coming out. Voyboy farming up under his turret. Kiwi Kid back to the split push. The farm behind the turret, of course, has a Sunfire cape, so they die even faster.
Voyboy knows he needs to get out of there. He's going to recall.
But Saint's around, though.
Dog has been cornered. Kiwi Kid now is the one on the wrong side.
Crumbs picked up the big golem there. St. Vicious now joining his teammate there under the turret. And of course, Curse the Sad Mummy is up in about 3 seconds. There it is. So the turret dive not really that available for Dignitas anymore.
Oh, the ping's coming in very early here. Dig looking to cut off this three-man squad.
He's on the way. See if they find anything. They don't, though. Looks like it's going to be still a safe mid lane for these Curse members, but you can tell the action is about to begin again. The ultimate's up for every single person on both teams. Most summoner spells up as well. There's going to be a fight pretty soon, and it's going to be crazy.
Now, Cop can actually initiate one with a Crystal Arrow, but there's so much more combat effectiveness on QtPie right now because Cop not only went 3 Doran's Blades, but also QtPie rushing that Bloodthirster, Graves being one of those early scaling AD carries that benefits so much from flat attack damage, will have a giant amount of area of effect damage in the next team fight, whereas Cop really adds mostly CC here, and the damage is going to be just a fraction of what Cutie Pie is bringing to the table.
And what's interesting about this as well is, as you talked about the builds being different and the atomization being stronger there, Cop is not actually sitting on a lot of gold right now individually. He's barely at 1,000, so still pretty far away from getting a BF sword or anything really substantial, so Cop's not going to do much more damage for quite a while here. And that could be Curse hoping to not have anything happen to them for a while, right? Kind of CLG-esque, like go take dragons, go do other things, we can't fight you right now. And that could be a big risk for this Curse lineup.
Well, they are. Voyboy's up to 186. That's 16 minutes in, though. 2 vs. 1 really slowed him down. Meanwhile,
he'll trade a turret.
The story of this game has been the Dragon Control for Dignitas. Voyboy finally gets his turret, but that actually means that the creep waves will be pushed into his zone a bit less, and he's going to have to buy some wards if he wants to overextend up there.
But I thought it was interesting, actually, that he sort of made Dignitas pay the price for his teleport, because Cubicut had to come down to support a Dragon effort in case there was a teleport. And then because of that, Void got to push the top lane turret down, and in fact, the rest of Curse pushing the mid lane as well. They just got that one. Cutie Pie, of course, counter pushing the right-hand side, so a bunch of turrets going down all at once, a lot of global gold surging into both teams.
There's a lot of wards here for Cutie Pie.
Nice try.
Yeah, that's a whip. We talked about the shadow being very crucial for Zed dodging arrows, but that one he could have even walked out of.
I think he wasn't even in range anyway. He could have stood still and dodged that one. That's how good Scar is.
That's the fake outs. That's the ultimate fake out.
He pressed S and it whips a skill shot. It's like the best feeling. So Cubicut, though, still on the push. You can see this. Dignitas about to take their third and final outer turret now. They are the ones who seem to still be controlling this early mid game. It's much closer than last time. Actually, this is probably the closest of our 3 games right here. Dignitas taking a bit of a lead here. 3,000 gold. It's going to grow to about 4,000 when that turret goes down. But Curse just might say that's okay. They might be able to hold on to this one. Shield coming across, getting rid of these minions. The mid lane turret not yet going down. I didn't even mean third outer turret, but third turret, of course. The mid lane one's still standing. The secondary right-hand side one had fallen. But there we go. 3-2 in kills, 3-2 in turrets. And I believe 2-0 on dragons, if I recall correctly. So Dignitas definitely in the lead here.
You really got to be questioning Curse's calls, going red side again, giving up the first pick, and then also giving up the same bans, the same picks to Dignitas, who really have sort of stumbled on their recipe for success. Kiwi Kid, Zach, crumbs on Lee Sin, and the early pressure. It's really worked well for them.
There's definitely been less early pressure, though, and especially when you consider Cutie Pie, who had such a great performance on Ezreal, which was their one ban adaptation. 0-1-1 on Graves, 150 minions is not nearly the performance he had on Ezreal. So for what it's worth, those adaptations have seemed to have worked. I tend to agree with you that I think Zach is so powerful, and I'm a little bit surprised they gave that one away, but a fight might just start in the mid lane. Ash Arrow's going to be up there. It lands onto Kiwi Kid. Death Sentence as well. This will be Kiwi going down into Bloblets, and Dignitas say, oh, you're just dead. Later.
Speaking of Zach, he is no more. Cell Division also down, so that's actually 2 for 1 right there. They get the passive on that 5-minute timer, as well as having the one-man advantage right now, and they're in the position to capitalize on it with a blue buff steal, which would be amazing for them. Taking that away, even from a Zed, it actually hurts Scar quite a bit.
He's got the pink. He's got a ward down right now. Saint does have smite available. Crumbs does not. This should be pretty easily picked up. And it's actually going to be a smite away by Saint. Wants to make sure he grabs that one. Doesn't need to give it to Voy. So blue buff Amumu with a Spirit of the Ancient Golem. A lot of cooldown reduction. If they go for a fight, that ulti will be back up pretty soon. And he'll put out a lot of damage with Tantrum.
And speaking of Voy, he's not going to go for that Frozen Heart because, like we said, Graves extremely caster-based as far as AD carries go. Similar thing with Zed because he's looking for that burst combo. He actually does rely quite a bit on auto attacks. Zed, a lot of the damage, it's
yeah, absolutely.
Sneaky, you know, comes in there from the back.
He's got to definitely at least attack you once for the passive trigger, and then just enough to make that Death Mark do enough damage at the very end of it all. So Voyboy, though, still on the side lane farm goal. You're seeing him still getting all the cleanup farm. Only 127 minions, but as we saw last time, that started to go up really quickly. Voy eventually ended as the #1 farm. Oh, good flash by Batoy. He needed to do that. Crescendo's going to land, but this still could be a catch. Will they chase on forward? Oh my god, Jackie just finds Cutie Pie. Low on health, though. Jackie might go down. Cop finds the Death Mark. He's going to survive for now, but Skara dropped dangerously low, finds the kill. They're trading back and forth. Now Crumbs trying to run away. Death Sentence lands. Do they have the damage? Crumbs trying to jump out of this one. Saint does not have his ulti anymore. Great jump away. Crumbs survives that encounter. 2 for 1 to Dignitas.
Curse the ones trying to start that fight, and they actually come out behind. Zach was never even there. He was walking the whole time. Huge win for Dignitas. They really thrive on those open area, chaotic fights. You could see Cop did not know where to go. He got kicked over. Running back and forth there was nowhere for him to get out. Even though Scar did end up going down, 2 kills, definitely worth it.
And both the squishies, the 2 major carries, that's really important to point out as well. The frail targets are the ones who went down. Now, Voyboy, bit of a fight with Kiwi Kid. You see them both sustain back up a little bit. And Voy's still going to go on the farm train. Saint, though, coming around behind Kiwi. Will he look for a fight right here? Going to walk right into him and say, hey, headbutt. Zach, get away from me. Lands a stun, pushing him away. Kiwi's going to be like, whoop, later. Off he goes. All right. But delays the recall a little bit.
He takes over the recall spot, though.
Yeah. Now he goes to recall there. Saint's going to be safe.
Claims his territory with that headbutt.
My brush.
There is a lack of damage here for Cursor, right? If Jackie and Cop go down, there's not much follow-up. Voyboy has been struggling there since there was the 2 versus 1 start for that Nasus. He only has 279 extra damage now, and that relies on being in melee range. All of these Dignitas targets very slippery and hard to stick.
You know what's interesting, though, about the Curse lineup? If they live for a long time, they've got both Nasus and a Mumu for persistent % max health damage over time. If they get to fight a really long battle, they'll just start burning those health bars down. And if they can just out-sustain it with a bunch of Orianna shields or kiting from Ashe or shields, it's a theoretical possibility. I mean, the problem is you're fighting a Zed who's going to burst you out. But like, if that kind of comes through, they've got this front line, kind of like a Nasus-Renekton combo, where you can sort of just start burning people out.
They definitely love to have, a delayed team fight with counter initiate or under a turret.
Yeah, especially.
Since they are behind so far already. Oh, okay. So wards and dragons.
Yeah.
That's what we cheer for.
Dragons coming down 3 of 3 right there. Patoy got almost 600 gold from dragons right there. That affords him an Oracles or Ruby Sightstone upgrade if he wants it. So Patoy, of course, wearing the Oracles, sweeps out a ward. 1 more tag to go. Is he going to get it? Yeah, he does. 30 gold for Patoy, helping to pay out that Oracles. I took a loan, paying it off slowly.
Now, both of the Zed and the Graves here for Dignitas, Scar and Cutie Pie already with Last Whispers. So Orianna, even though she's trying to get that Zanya's Hourglass up, and even though Curse have 2 tanks already building armor, Dignitas already prepared for this. They won't be mitigated very much.
Doesn't seem to be the case here. Skara on the split push now, and he's probably going to do it faster than Voy will, which is a bit of a scare, of course. Again, the heavy armor pen itemization you just talked about, that's going to make it difficult for that kind of armor stack in Voyboy. By the way, there we go. Arrow's going to come across, does not find a victim, though. Comes across the map. No pickups here, so now Curse back to the defensive.
Turtle time.
Crumbs steals away the blue buff. Skara push all the way up to basically the inhibitor turret at this point, and Dignitas now group up on the Baron side of the map.
They really need to draw out Curse away from their turrets. Like you said, they would love nothing more. Curse would love nothing more than to have a team fight under the turrets.
Oh
Crumbs gets hooked in.
Crumbs, this is not good for him. 200 health, he's going to go down. Jackie picks that one up. Saint has saved his ultimate still, has a lantern if he wants it, but that is a really good pick. There is the Edward pick combo and the initiation now, the fight, the push forward for Curse. They don't have an arrow from Cop, but they do have a 5v4, and there's no good disengage here for Dignitas. This could be exactly what Curse needs.
You can tell Curse made the call immediately to push mid after that too. They didn't even go to defend their red buff. Even with Dignitas getting caught out there, Crumbs going down, they still stole away the red.
And you can see the wave clear just good enough here for Dignitas. No turret kill actually comes here. They actually, for what it's worth, the red and blue buff on Dignitas' side of the map are available. I don't know if Curse knows of the problem, but they might just get the pick on a Scar. The Bandit House does not quite land. Almost mind games the Shadow. But it's going to be an escape here for Skara.
So Curse were only able to get the gold from that kill on Crumbs. No capitalization in the form of objectives. And they even didn't get down wards on Baron. They have no vision. Edward's recalling here. They already used the Hawk shot on the red side jungle. This is Dignitas rushing it down. Crumbs isn't even in his
Curse are only barely realizing this is something that's happening. Skara waiting in the brush right there, hoping to catch someone off guard. There's the initiative. They're going to find Saint Vision. Shockwave lands, though. This could be huge. The Ash Arrow lands 1 for 1 so far. Do they have the damage? Cutie Pie's got no health. Let's see if they can keep on moving. A lot of damage coming out from Skara. 1 for 1. Edward, will he get a... No. Just gets a ward. All right. That was close, though. 1 for 1.
Oh, yeah, that was huge for Curse. Are you kidding me? They would love to take that exchange. They were caught out of position. There were no wards on the Baron. And Dignitas trade them 1 for 1, even though it's support for jungle. They'd love to take that trade. Voidboy also burned his teleport because they wanted to follow up on that. No one was in position, though.
So back to the side lanes. They're getting that farm as it comes through. Jackie, 185 minions. You're seeing him scale up. He's still trying to get towards that zone. He's currently at 800 gold only, so he's got quite a ways to go, actually, until he can start immuning the death mark there, but at least has his Seraph's shield, at least has his Seeker's arm guard. See him scale up over time. PewDiePie, of course, grabbing his own red buff. And, of course, that's going to go to 80 carries at this point in the game, so he'll do nicely. And look at that. After Jackie stopped the initial push, it's like, all right, Void, go scale up. Go be a Nasus.
Take over. However, he did use his teleport, like we said, so if he's stranded in this bottom lane, Dignitas can rush down
Beacon
a
is
Baron.
stranded. Kiwi Kid, really good stun by Saint Vicious. That could just be enough. Cop does not have a Chant Crystal Layer up just yet. Saint does not have his ulti either. So Kiwi Kid actually gets out despite a really nice bandage toss from Saint.
And PewDiePie's been pushing mid this whole time. He's actually getting some decent damage on that turret. Great wave clear on Graves. They're already pinging him back, though. You know when you see a yellow ping in one of these matches, they've been shouting at him already, and it hasn't worked.
Like, no, seriously, dude, the ping. Listen to the ping. He does get away from that one. So Skara back to the side. Actually, look at that. Void immediately backs up and says, you know what? I'm not going to deal with you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you take those ones down. He knows it's a scary proposition. Void hasn't really bought anything in quite a while. He's still sitting at that Kindle gem. 1,300 gold, though, so he might add a few more items in the near future. Just hasn't yet.
The interesting thing about Zed is that, you know, normally assassins would never want to target tanks. But since he builds penetration, full penetration first, he can even easily combo down a heavy tank like a Nasus. So Voidboy definitely doing a good job right there, checking himself and not going headlong into that scary Skara.
Alrighty, so where do the teams go now? Dignitas was the team that was controlling Baron. They had the ward coverage and Curse didn't for some time, but after a pretty tricky trade, we got a little bit of ward control back on both sides. Cop, though, still hawk-shotting around. You can still tell that Curse are missing some vision. He's having to hawk-shot his own jungle. See, is Skara coming around? Am I going to get flanked? Am I going to get caught right here? Dignitas still are winning that vision game.
Yeah, it's definitely benefiting Curse right now that Dignitas are one of the most skittish teams around Baron because they've had so many games where they were ahead and gone for Baron and had it stolen away only to lose when they felt that they had a win that they deserved. It's made them overly defensive around Baron, and definitely they would not like to go for it as an option.
But Skara still lurking around in the shadows, actually finds the wolves there. Saint Vicious in a bit of a fight, lands the stun. This could be what they need to kill off Skara. No, he's going to get away. No one else going to help this one out. Cop still lurking around. Does have his ulti available if he needs to use it somewhere. Let's see what happens. Skara still just lurking in the Cursed jungle. You can see that Dignitas are controlling the map still. They're still taking away the wolves, taking away rays, taking away buffs. And Curse going to play on the defensive. Arrow's not going to land again. They have not hit one in a while.
Woo. It's not going to happen again. PewDiePie is quick on the draw this game.
Yes, he is. And Skara finding himself some turret pressure right there. Of course, Kiwi Kid took down the top lane turret by himself, and you can see 258 minion kills. Pretty good penetration build as well. Jump in. It's going to be PewDiePie who gets ulted in. Will they have the damage they need? He cleanses away and backs out. The jump's going to come back in. Does not land the death sentence, but Cobbins rejoin the fight. They have the damage they need. Skara not rejoining the battle, and neither is Voidboy. It's a 4-on-4, and both teams going to back out. Crumb saying, that was a close fight. I'm going to steal red.
Yeah, Curse of the Sad Mummy down here for Saint, and he's manaless, so they know there's no more threat from that Mummy, even though they didn't gain anything substantial out of that team fight. Gives them the confidence to go ahead and steal away that red and move on to the more important target.
And now here comes the pressure again. Dignitas looking for Baron. Skara pulled across the map. They do not have Asher, but they might just have Hawkshot. And let's see if Curse can stop this. Yep, Dignitas is going to stop early. Jackie, though, alone on top of a ward. It's going to be dangerous. There comes a jump in on Cop. Will Cop survive Skara? He's going to flash away. He survives, but Skara finds his way back in and picks up the kill. Edward goes down as well. Saint Vicious alone. He's going to drop. 3 kills picked up, but it's 1 back for Voidboy. Now 2 kills picked up. Void in the middle of the enemy team. He finds another kill. The battle is still going on. PewDiePie or Kiwi Kid has no health. Can they keep chasing down? The Q is charged. Can he get the Wither? There's the Wither. There's the Spirit Fire. He gets him into Bloblets. This is so good for Curse. They've turned the fight around. They're going to find a 4th kill here. Jackie picking it up, 2 and 2. Oh my gosh, that battle.
All right. Some of the solo lane Nasus has been vindicated here. Boy, the Colossus just coming in, 1 man versus 3, chases him off. Cop here though, look at that dodge from Skara, able to get into the back, and then they took down 2 people. Crumbs up here in his solo duel with Jackie did get bested, and Jackie had to use his flash. Boy meanwhile was doing work down here, and the shield even from Jackie to speed him up, gets him in the distance for another Wither before this tiny Boy has a chance to get off another elastic slingshot.
That was.
And Nasus has the perfect weapon for whack-a-mole. So that was an easy finish for him.
Gets him down there. And of course, just to point out one thing real quick, the Nasus, he did of course max siphoning strike first, Wither second. So the rank 3 Wither really helping him get the chase down there, leaving Spirit Fire for last. Even though he learned Spirit Fire at level 1 to keep his lane alive a little bit longer, went for the max on Q, went for the max on W, and you can now see that Voyboy, 220 minion kills, 2 1-2 scoreline, has a Randuin's Omen, Ninja Tabby, and an Iceborne Gauntlet, has a Kindle Gem just for some cooldown reduction. This is a tanky, low cooldown, whack-a-mole loving Nasus. Going pretty well for him.
Oh, he's ready to tank turrets too. He's got the Orianna shield on top of his Randuin. There we go.
They land the stun on the Scar. The shotgun by the Cutie Pie. But they have the damage they need. Scar dropped dangerously low. There's 1 kill picked up. A Saint. He's going to drop. Voyboy going to drop as well. 2 for 2 so far in this fight. Is dangerously close. Sorry, 2 for 1. Actually, Dignitas in the lead. Dodges the Crumbs Q. The Dissonance. The volley trying to keep Dignitas away. Cobb's going to take the Lantern. And Jackie versus Crumbs round 2. Crumbs lands the slow. Jackie not in the best place right now, and I'm a Cutie Pie is coming by as well. Jackie does not have anything to cast right here. Is not going to get himself away. Shutdown comes in for Cutie Pie, 3-1 in that fight.
This time around, Crumbs gets the best of it. He would have finished that on his own. Cutie Pie, Scumbag comes in to take away that shutdown bonus gold, but really, Curse just got overconfident right there. They're still behind in gold. They were still lacking in power. They went for the turret dive and got punished from the AoE from Cutie Pie right there.
Yep, and now Dignitas, though, they're going to start Baron in full vision of a ward. Cop is around, but he knows the dive potential from the other side is dangerous. He's going to shoot down a ward, blind some of the vision right there. Edward's coming around as well. He's going to have the Lantern. Saint's not in range. He can't steal this one away, though. It's going to be a pickup there. Good smite there by Crumbs. No pull coming across. Good Baron picked up there for Dignitas. Gold lead definitely there.
They were able to overcome their fears of the late game Baron chances.
It is looking good. 8,000 gold or 7,500 right now for this Dignitas lineup. Cop still trying to farm up their only 2 completed items, 2 big completed items compared to Cutie Pie's 3. Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, and Phantom Dancer versus just Ayad Static Shiv. That is definitely a difference that Curse are going to need to make up if they want to start doing better in those long-range team fights, provided that Cop doesn't die right away to Skara here. Of course, not a lot of defense for that Ashe either. Skara gets away in the split push, but the rest of Dignitas know, look, we have turret control, we have Baron. They might go for the push before any more items come in for Curse.
They could group up for the push and for the dive with that Zac, but we just saw how poorly the dive turned out for Curse here. And they have Skara, who's an immensely strong split pusher. He can handle himself in 1v1 situations. He's also even got Merc Treads to reduce the duration of those Ashe arrows when they do hit him.
Looks like the turret's going to be going down in the near future. Cutie Pie a little bit afraid of Shockwaves. Says, no, you know what, we got this one. That's going to go down. Edward still alive, doesn't quite take anything just yet, but that's all 6 outer turrets now down. Only inhibitor turrets remain. Voyboy still trying to farm up that Q, but at this point, it's really just on, can the team fight against a Baron buff without losing an inhibitor or the game? Kiwi Kid does not go for the engage right there. Edward puts some wards down, but unfortunately, Dignitas have already pinked that area. They can sweep those wards out whenever they want and keep darkening the vision of Curse.
Yeah, the Oracle's really, they're just going to let Crumbs rule both jungles here as he takes away another red buff, claiming what's rightfully his.
Yeah. Crumbs has owned the Dignitas, or the Curse jungle most of this game. And he's showing it right there. So, great stuff right there. He's been doing an amazing job this game. And Kiwi Kid, we got to bring him back up here too. We talked about the Zac being an important pick for them. 0, 2, and 4. And look at that build.
He's damaged.
He's got a lot of good damage there.
That is a punishing Zac. And Leandri's Torment is a really strong item because Zac is going to be the one initiating. And since it's, max HP percentage, he's going to get the most bang for his buck as he starts off the fight, gets everybody low with his AoE, and has them all burning down, just softening them up for Skara and PewDiePie to finish off.
Definitely going to see that probably happen here in these fights. It's definitely probably going to happen. Good. Skara and Patoy still on the wave clear right here. You're seeing them keep the push going. Skara has picked up a Guardian Angel. And surprisingly, though, Dignitas, 3 minutes into the Baron buff, haven't yet cracked an inhibitor turret. Haven't even looked for it really very strongly yet. They've been playing a little bit more defensive there and saying, look, let's just make sure we keep the leads going. 9,000 gold. They're certainly growing their way ahead. They're still getting farther and farther up there. The Guardian Angel's helping that dive. But they're going for the old spring split strategy. It's that tri-lane split push, closing into the base, and then closing it out eventually.
Well, they're very worried about the utility of this Curse team in a dive. Almost all the Team Curse here has answers for a dive. If Saint can lock you down with his Curse of the Sad Mummy, then Jackie and Cop plus Edward all have ways to keep you inside that turret and taking extra damage.
Now that's going to be a scary thing for them. Dignitas, as you say, taking their time. You're right. They're rightfully afraid of this Curse lineup. The heavy control, definitely something that is valuable for these guys. Crumb's still looking for maybe a way in. Of course, if he can kick in Jackie, it's probably going to be enough for him, although the Zhonya's Hourglass is done, so they've got to be careful not to bait themselves onto that one. They've got the Thresh Lantern as well from Edward. Again, the push on the bottom-hand side. Voyboy still just wave clearing it out. So Baron buff has timed out. The pull is in on a Kiwi Kid. He's forced to use Let's Bounce. With it going for the engage, even still, forced to flash away now as well. That's going to be nothing picked up. PewDiePie, though, free push on the bottom lane, low on health because of this one. Scar going to pick up a little bit. Now, will the engage happen? Dissonance comes across, pushing Voyboy forward. No, damage in the turret, but nothing picked up here for Curse.
Oh, we just saw why they're not going for dives. Because of that damage build on Kiwi Kid, he goes down to turrets fairly quickly. All he had to do was land that death sentence, and it almost burned him down to a cell division.
And that would have been dangerous because you saw, and I was actually wondering if Saint was going to burn his ulti. If you ult on a move, you can't flash away, and that would have been enough to force cell division, but it seemed like he needed it too much for a potential team fight. They couldn't just all in for that one, so Dignitas just going to keep taking control. Dragon goes down. Baron's up in less than 3 minutes. There's more gold to take. Why not, Dignitas? Why not just farm more gold? Why not pull a CLG and bring it to the 45 minutes, bring it to where we've all got 7 items? There is room to grow. Randuin's Omen coming out soon for Kiwi Kid. That's definitely going to help him tank those turrets.
Yeah, he's trying right there. He just did not like the feel of that last little exchange there. Went back and got himself a Warden's Mail on top of it, which will help him versus that sustained Ash damage from auto attacks.
And I want to point out one thing, which is the value of global gold here. Because look at I'm a PewDiePie and look at Cop on the scoreboard. 2, 2, and 6. 290-something minions. But compare the items, right? 3 completed offensive items, but PewDiePie's also got a Quicksilver Sash, also got an extra BF Sword, and global gold is a large portion of that one. Yeah, okay, Cop built a couple of Doran's Blades earlier on, but you're seeing an extra 700 to 1,000 gold lead because of Cop's early Doran's Blade pickup, the extra global gold coming in for Dignitas, and even though Ash has that Hawkshot passive giving him more gold per minion kill, still a richer PewDiePie despite individual performances being the same.
Yeah, having that extra Quicksilver Sash means, wow, he's got answers for everything now.
Yeah.
Wither and Curse of the Sad Mummy. Hopefully he will not be getting hit with those anymore, as he's been able to dodge them fairly efficiently so far.
And it's still just the wave clear, so Dignitas definitely. Okay. I mean, it's been this for a while now at this point, right? Dignitas, this is actually what happens when you have really important matches, is people start to get almost too afraid.
Yeah.
Like, you looked at CLG versus TSM, and they were like, we can't fight for Dragon. We might lose the fight there. And they gave up like 90% of the Dragons in their BO3 against TSM. Now, to be fair, Dignitas, in their sort of skittishness, are controlling the map. They're taking buffs away. They're taking Dragons. Baron comes up at 20 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised to see them look for it and bait a fight there. But Dignitas are playing so securely. Yeah. They're saying, look, let's give 0 risks in this game. Keep scaling up, and until you get to the point where Dignitas can't buy any more items, they will still get value out of farming gold like this.
Yeah, this is what I kind of refer to as, cutting off the supply lines here for Curse. They're cut off from the whole map. Dignitas are gaining resources from all sides here. They take whatever is available at the point, and they're keeping Curse boxed up inside of their base with just 2 members showing in lane. Curse have been whipped so hard that they don't even want to come out to check on this Baron.
Yep, there's only 1 ward outside of Curse's base.
And that's
for Curse.
barely outside.
Yeah, it's like over the wall. They got like 1 brush. So the Baron comes back.
There we go.
41-minute Baron pickup. And Dignitas going to probably use his buff to actually push their way in. If you grab a Baron buff,
all right,
and all you got are inhibitor turrets,
that's the checkered flag. They've waved the checkered flag. We're going in now. The race is on. We're gonna go for a dive.
I think it's the white flag. It's for the last lap. The checkered flag is when it's over.
Well, all right.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna use racing analogies,
You're right.
I'm glad I know enough to know that one. By the way, I'm like excited that I know like racing flags, and I'll laugh at like white flag's actually wrong, and I'm just stupid. But the one before the final lap, I'm just saying, Dignitas looking to close this one out. Not so much in record time, but it's okay. It's slow and steady wins the race for these guys. Let's see
I really don't care what color the flag is, as long as they go for a dive.
Oh, look if they can grab this one. I mean, this is going to be the case here for Dignitas. Still pushing up. This turret right here on your screen is very, very low. PewDiePie put a lot of damage onto it, and Curse are trying very hard to keep this one alive, but this might just be the shots they need. PewDiePie goes in. He's low on health.
Oh!
He gets exploded right away. PewDiePie is dead. Kiwi can now force a left bounce and run, but he's being slowed. He's being picked apart. He's split into problems. Curse going to pick up 2 kills. Now they need to push forward.
That was definitely not the checkered flag. Oh my goodness, PewDiePie was getting as antsy as we were getting.
Yellow flag, slow down, warning.
The rest of the Dignitas team was not there. That's not the member that you want on the front lines. And Curse capitalized on it perfectly here. They waited so long
to
look
get
at
Crumbs.
The perfect move into the base here. Yeah, Crumbs is going to do some work on that top turret, but Jackie's there. I mean, they waited so long for the right push and then pulled it off so wrong.
They did. So 23 seconds until the first respawn there. You got 3 members in the mid lane. Scar is recalling. This actually could be a 3-on-4. Jackie forced back by Crumbs. But again, you've still got Void over there. Void does have teleport. He could join the fight. Middle inhibitor. First inhibitor of the game. Actually might go to Curse. That's a Scar. They're going to pull it. They don't land the death sentence, though. And he goes in for Cop. This could be dangerous. Cop trying to run away. Good dodge there by Scar. He goes down. But Saint has rejoined the fight. There is Boy as well. Scar trying to run. He's going to get out of this one. 1 kill for nothing. Saint not in a good place. Does get away. Is it going to be enough, though? The damage comes in. Saint's going to go down. Edward getting chased as well. Flashed away. Boy trying to run. PewDiePie finds the kill after respawning. And now Boy forced to run. And it's suddenly Dignitas with the lead. Oh my god, the damage from Jackie. Scar, will he go down? Pops the Guardian Angel. Jackie forced a flash away from Crumbs. Now Boy getting chased. He's going to use the Q. He's going to put the slow field down. Put what damage he can, but he's still going to die. 5 members still alive for Dignitas.
All right, now the race is on. They're going to go straight up the middle here. This is probably going to be a push to end the game.
Let's see if they can do it there. The mid lane turret has health, but Crumbs does not care. He'll tank it from full HP. He's a tanky man right there. And the first turret goes down. Now onto the inhibitor. They've got a minion wave behind them as well. And 15 seconds until the respawns come in. This might be just enough. Can Nijaki do anything miracle right here? Has to Zonia's. Turret starting to go down. This could be the quarterfinal win. Jackie goes down. They've got all 5 hitting the Nexus turrets. Dignitas going for it right now. Cup alone defending. The Nexus goes down. And that is it. Dignitas takes it into the top 4. A little bit. Scar's face might have changed this time.
For once,
that's a smile.
Yeah, he did not have the confused Scar face on.
That was a pretty well played game. They certainly took their time with it. You're seeing the relief. And I mean, what a way to end the game, right? Dive in. Oh my god, we just threw away 2 kills. We had Baron buff. Oh god, our inhibitor's dying. And they still pulled it back. That's a tumultuous end to a game.
So the checkered flag thing, I was going for the start of the race, because then it's when they're
green
going to start the dive. Yeah. Oh, these guys are such close friends too. Boy used to play with Dignitas for a long time, before he initially left for CLG, and then finally ended up on Curse.
Yep.
These guys go way back.
Oh yeah, this is one of the big rivalries, honestly. It's really both quarterfinals were very, very fitting matches. CLG versus TSM, Curse versus Dignitas. So it's going to be Curse, unfortunately not making the top 4 finish this time around, but Dignitas have a chance at reprising their role from the Season 2 championships. They went last year. They actually got top 2 to TSM, which honestly could still happen here, to be fair. Like that could be the final, the same as last year's regional final.
They could get revenge on Dyrus for leaking their Taric roaming strat.
Strats. Scumbag Dyrus. Of course, an incredible game, and congratulations to Dignitas for that win. But let's send it over to Jat and Riv for a look at the key plays in Dignitas' clutch Game 3 win.
Thank you very much, Freak. Not many replays for us here, but what it does allow us to do is kind of recap the game and talk about what can happen tomorrow in these matches.
Yeah.
And to recap the game, I think we're all a bit astonished to see such a definitive first game win and then a 2-0 from Dignitas, just like that.
Yeah, and with Dignitas in these last 2 wins, they've got very similar compositions and the same side of map as well. It was a very curious choice by Curse to pick red side again and then go for basically the same style of strategy the 2 games in a row, where all they wanted to do was force big team fight wins, whereas Dignitas, when they win, and this is why we don't have any necessary like big breaking moment clips, because when Dignitas wins, it's a bunch of small little fights. Zed, Lee Sin, even Graves, very dash-heavy people who are going to be able to avoid Nasus and Amumu in most cases. There were few situations where they got caught and actually had a team fight, and that's why Curse was coming out on top, because that's all they were built around. But it just clearly wasn't enough, and you got to just give big congratulations to Dignitas. And the reason they were so happy after that win is, like, not only does that mean they still have a chance at Worlds, but it means for them that they're into Season 4, which I think means the world to those guys.
And you go back and you look at Dignitas' games, and like you said, they had the in and the out team, and that's the team they usually run, a duck, dip, dive team, something they can hop out, something they can get back in, help somebody if there's a gap closed that's necessary, and they did it again. Curse's strat, as I talked to Steve up here, they ran that strat with Karthus Kassadin for 35 times. And he said it was 50-50, but they were able to play it here and they were able to come out strong. But that one strat seemed to be their bread and butter, and they needed to bring out something like that again.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a gimmick because it was off the regular Curse style, and they just couldn't come back with anything else. They just kind of defaulted back to their... I know Amumu did work a little bit for him, so I guess that was their gambit number 2, and the 50-50 fell on the wrong side of the coin for them in their next matchup. But I really do have to just give credit to Dignitas for coming back and... From 1-0, it's so difficult when you're down 1-0 in a best of 3 to just be able to fall back on their core set of champions. Scar went back to Zed and Gragas, which he's played so much of. Kiwi Kid found Zach and was able to get it 2 games in a row. Everything for Dignitas was comfortable in that last game, and they played their game successfully, which is what got them through. They stuck to their guns.
They got a lot of picks that made those guns quite big. So guys, it's time for a quick break, but when we return, Dignitas' Crumbs will join us to talk about his team's quarterfinal win. Plus, we'll update the playoff bracket and break down Saturday's semifinals. Don't go anywhere. The NALCS Regionals live from PAX Prime. We'll be right back.